All right, it is media day. We are talking 13-6As. We finally moved up to the highest classification in the state. We got College Park's head coach, Kyle Coach, with us. Coach, man, that's to start with this district is to start with one of the more powerhouse districts in the Houston area because it is. I used to be able to say it's top heavy, but now this thing is going all the way down to 8 and 9. All these teams are really talented in there. You guys got into a playoff spot last year. Talk about being in this district, the realignment, but most of these teams were pretty much the same as the year before. But talk about last year's success and making the postseason.
Yeah, we kind of came into the season with the simple goal in mind of November 15th. I think you can see it behind me. Made some fake news clip articles and stuff like that, put it all over the locker room, made kids have to see it, invest in it every single day. So it played to our advantage, I feel like, because I think they expected to win more so than they were hoping they would win, which I feel like the year before we were fighting a little bit. And so, uh, very competitive district, like you said. We went into it knowing that of our first four games, if we didn't win two, we weren't going to make the playoffs, right? And so, you're looking at Willis, you're looking at Conroe, Grand Oaks, Oak Ridge, all very, very talented teams. And so every single one of those was a battle. But when we came out of that first four with two under our belt, we knew we had a pretty good shot to go the rest of the way, get three more, and get yourself a ticket to the playoffs.
But now you know what you're dealing with in this district. Not that you didn't already, because it's like I said, it's pretty similar teams. But talk to me about who's leading this team, and I know you got a couple good offensive linemen up there too, ready to block for them.
Camden Hughes will return as our quarterback. He was a sophomore this last year, 27 touchdowns, 2,500 yards passing,
That's right,
400.
newcomer of the year too, right? Newcomer of the year.
Correct. Yeah. So he also can do it on the ground at about 380 yards rushing, five touchdowns, only threw five picks. So for a sophomore, really had a good command of the offense. We graduated our big play weapon and Clint Rashall with our, take the top off. He had 1,500 yards receiving and 17 touchdowns, but Jordan was right there with him with 11 touchdowns and I believe 825. So we're looking for Jordan to kind of take on that role of being our main guy, being the guy we can get the ball to vertical out in space and let him do some stuff with it. And then we have some young pieces around him that'll be really good. We are returning two of our varsity offensive linemen in Cole Cook, our center, and Brock Minzy. Brock's played center, guard, tackle. He's done everything for us. So both those kids will be on their third year starting. So we're looking for a lot of good things from them. And then the running back position is kind of intriguing because we have a junior or two juniors actually and a sophomore that are kind of all in the mix with another sophomore that ran a 10-7 at the district track meet. So there's some speed, there's some power, there's some wiggle. So there's a lot of good things there, I think, in the running back room. And those guys will all be competing for snaps. And I firmly believe it's better to have four of them than it is to have one of them.
Let's talk defensively. I know you got the Sandman coming back. We can talk about him on your defensive side of the ball. But who else you got coming back that should? I mean, you got some teams out there with Bishop and Jack Dalton out there that you got to slow down. Talk about what you guys got going on defensively.
Yeah, so Marco and David will both be back. So Marco Beltran plays our rover slash roll down safety. David plays our boundary safety. He's kind of a hybrid linebacker safety position. Both those kids are back. David led the district in tackles. Marco led the district in basically everything else: interceptions, punt returns for touchdowns, punt return yards. So we got two really good weapons there on defense that'll be coming back. Expecting big things out of them. Corner is a position where we're having to replace two guys. But it's most of the college coaches that have come by and seen us and say, like, hey, they got two really good looking ones right now that are going to be juniors. So we got James Cabarrus and we got Jordan White that'll be playing corner for us. I think that'll take a bulk of those reps. I'll also have a young man that's going to be a senior by the name of Caleb Cortez. It's all kind of in that battle. And I think at some point, all three of them will be on the field depending on what package we're in. They're all just athletic kids, big, long, 6 foot plus. I joke with James all the time that when he got here, he was probably 5'8", 140 pounds, and probably scared to tackle, whatever. But now he's going into his junior year. He's 6'1", he's 180. His arms are long enough to scratch his knees when he's standing up. I'm like, you are literally everything they're looking for in a corner. So
That's
really excited to see those guys as they develop. Linebacker position, we've got Bryce Cooper coming back as a senior. Probably started half the games for us last year with injuries. Does a really good job. And then Lane Leger started for us at outside backer. He'll be returning. He'll play a little bit of inside and outside. But our biggest point of interest, I think, in my mind is Jordan Grant and RJ Wims will both be sophomores playing DT. Jordan is 6'1", 305 pounds as a 15-year-old. Started half the season for us as a freshman. Already has a UTSA, Sacramento State offered. RJ Wims played freshman football last year. 6'2", 260 pounds. Has a Sacramento State offer. Hadn't played a varsity snap yet. And then we have two defensive ends that'll both be playing some of our 4-down stuff, some of our 3-down stuff. But Stephen Asong is a 6'3", 240-pound defensive end. That's a senior. Lucas Richard working at that other defensive end. So I think we'll be really good up front. So it'll be really interesting to see. It's been hard this spring. We've had some injuries on the offensive line. And so essentially we threw out what ended up being almost like our second or our third offensive line against these guys. And it's just not fair. You know what I mean? Right. It's a good problem to have, but it's also one of those things that, like, for both sides, for development wise, you don't like to see Camden having to duck and dodge and do all that all long. But at the same time, you do like seeing that, like, hey, one step, push, pull. All right, good defensive ends in the backfield. And so Lucas probably does the best job right now at the D end of just using his hands and being violent at the point of attack. And that's one of the things that we're iterating with all those guys going through. And I think, Cy Park here on August 28th will be a great test for those guys for the first time of seeing real live bullets flying and seeing what they can do.
See what they can do. That's perfect. I mean, this district's going to be tough. Boy, I feel like the season's tomorrow. The way you guys talk. I appreciate you joining me, Coach, man. And we will definitely see you down the stretch.
Awesome. Thank you so much.